Gosh, you're a very well-behaved group. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the Impact Forum 2025. Our theme this year is this: delivering the prevention turn. Why? Because in recent years, more and more money is going into crisis management. And while this is happening, the types of structures that can really help people stay away from homelessness in the first place remain fragile, remain underpowered. So our challenge is very much about reversing this trend. And of course, that won't be easy, which is why days like today are so important. But we want to begin in the way we always do, with a voice of lived experience. So please join me in welcoming our poet in residence to the stage, Surfing Sofas.
Stop clapping early. I'm joking. Wow, it's so crazy when I have to start the day. Like normally I'd get put in the middle or the end, make everybody depressed and go home and think about life. Now you're gonna have to be depressed and think about it through the whole day. I'm joking. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for having me here. I see a few of my friends in the audience as well. Very nervous. I'm gonna perform a new piece taken from the album that I'm currently working on with the Center for Homelessness Impact. And this piece is called Preventative Measures. And I've been practicing it all yesterday and all this morning, and I keep getting it wrong. What am I like? All right, so preventative measures. Our fire brigade are known to be called when my cold friends on the streets lose control of their fires. Our underworked, our overworked, and underpaid paramedics, nurses, and doctors are tired. You see, moving forward, it would be great to see more systems to prevent homelessness embedded for sure. Because time and time again, evidence has shown us that prevention has proven to be better than cure. Now, my friend Mr. Smith, he's lived a life filled with trauma. He slept on the streets, and his time there was torture. He lit fires to stay warm whilst out in the cold, and had the fire brigade called when his flames grew out of control. His knuckles were scabby from numerous fights that led to him being arrested numerous times. And back then, he never really had the best of health, which sometimes led to calls for an ambulance to help. Now, he's turned his life around. He's housed and he's working as well. He's actually a street outreach worker himself, tending to those walking in the shoes that he once wore, where some become displaced and think they're not due to become more. Sleeping on the streets with ground level views that he once saw before he was saved by absurdly late interventions. And it's cases like his and cases like mine that identify a need for early ways of prevention. Now, for a moment, I'd like you all to shift your attention out of emergency homeless support and into prevention. Imagine taking on homelessness with interventions that are early enough to end its wicked intentions, or the wicked intentions that the monster we all know as homelessness has. I've watched it leave cool souls feel broken and sad. I've watched it leave us without somewhere to call a home, and leave us hoping that we'll find somewhere to call our own. I've seen that street homelessness can often come with issues, and these issues can take a toll on emergency services. So we need less reactive and more preventional support. And now is the time for us to urgently work at this. But I feel no need to worry, because the fact is, bless ya. What am I like? But I feel no need to worry, because the fact is, we got this, right? Yeah. And the center suggested, that's the Center for Homelessness Impact, if you didn't catch that. And the center suggested embarking on clever endeavors. Maybe it's time to shift our focus from reactive responses and invest in scaling up preventative measures. Thank you.
Isn't he wonderful? Another round of applause for Justin. And what Justin's words really remind us is that homelessness is never abstract. Homelessness is lived, it's felt, and it's endured by people and communities that deserve so much better. And yet, here we are. And it's so easy to forget, which is why today I'd like to start by offering a metaphor to help guide our thinking and our discussions throughout the day. Imagine our collective safety net as a house we've inherited. The foundations of this house were laid way before us, and the NHS, the welfare state, are testament to the power of courage and strong political leadership. But time has taken its toll. The beams are cracked, the roof is leaking, the wiring is under strain because it wasn't designed to bear, all the pressures being put upon it. What do? Too often, we sit beside the drip and we keep adding buckets the more drips appear. We have endless discussions about who's to blame for certain disrepairs, and we commission report after report about what's wrong with each room in the house. And of course, the homelessness system is only one room in our collective house. So, what does this mean? Because it is our house. It's a house we all share. What it doesn't need is demolition. What we need is renewal. Renewal so that every room provides dignity, it provides belonging, it provides purpose, because those are the things we know we need for society to thrive. Summer, where I was born, is very much a time of year when wildfires are quite common. So every time I go to Portugal each year, I'm reminded of how incredibly good we are in a crisis. When a fire breaks, we know what to do. We act with clarity, we act with courage. But homelessness is a very different type of crisis. It creeps in slowly. Think of a pot of boiling water. By the time the water boils over, the heat has been rising for quite a while. Homelessness works in a similar way. Things like rough sleeping, things like the numbers of people in TA is very much the boil over. The pressures have been building and built over time. Think about insecure work. Think about the year upon year of unmet housing building targets. Think about untreated trauma. All of these things accumulate over time. By the time we realize there's a crisis, it's already very well developed. And even then, it doesn't trigger the type of response that we'd expect to see from other emergencies. And that needs to change. So the challenge, the most pressing challenge we have today is this: to ensure that we're able to act on the heat with the same urgency as we do on the spill. This is very much the prevention turn we need. Treating the quiet warning signs with the same urgency as the blaring gaze. It's really, really important. And this isn't easy, because it's not just about getting support for prevention being better than cure. I'm yet to meet a politician, a practitioner, a funder who don't believe that's true. What it takes is hard work. That's what's difficult, is making sure that we have all the mechanisms in place to make that possible. So today, throughout the day, you're going to see us go back to three levers that the evidence suggests can really make a huge difference between taking bold ambitions and making them a reality. So bold political leadership and accountability. It's really, really important. We know from evidence across the globe to have it. Why? Because we need ambitious goals and we need leaders who are able to have that, but also be willing to hold themselves accountable. But we also need smarter investment, leveraging research and development in such a way that we can rigorously test what works, scale what's effective, but also stop what isn't, which is equally difficult, and I'm sure we'll get into that throughout the day. And we need integration. We need to make sure we align incentives across housing, health, education, migration, and make sure this is happening at all levels of government as well. So none of this is easy, but it's fundamental. And it requires all these levers to ensure that we're building all of what we need to turn our ambitions into reality. The good news is that renewers already exist. In Scotland, new prevention duties are being written into law, and they can really make a huge difference, even if only local areas are actually supported to turn them into reality. In Greater Manchester, the Live Well philosophy is very much beginning to reframe how different fields are working together to improve the outcomes of people across the region. And in London, they've been reviewing governance arrangements to ensure that efforts to end homelessness and rough sleeping are more effective than ever. We'll hear more about these and other cases throughout the day. They're not isolated ones, they're part of a movement that is determined, no matter how challenging, to turn this particular boat. So we no longer keep pouring good money after bad on things that simply won't get us where we want to. Now, this is why today really matters. It matters because we know we can renew our house. We can renew the house so that every child growing up has the safety and the opportunity to flourish. Every child deserves that. We can renew our house to make sure that no one needs to choose between rent and food. We can renew our house because every room needs to be firm. Every room needs to be able to provide dignity, safety, and purpose, because we know from the evidence that unless you have those elements, you can't deliver good outcomes for people. Our society won't get more productive or happier. It's better for everyone, not just those at risk of homelessness. And this is what today is all about. This is why I hope we think you're all here, because this is our house and we can renew it together. So the ideas, the debates, the evidence that we share today, these are very much our tools. And each speaker, each session, each conversation, they're very much part of the repair work. It will certainly take courage. It will take humble leadership. It will take every one of you being willing and prepared to pick up the tools. But certainly from our experience at the center, we know that you're all very much willing to do this. So we thank you for being here, willing participants, and we look forward to renewing this house together. Thank you.